Lance by Chance. The untold story of him wrestling as a Von Erich. LanceByChance.com.
Fans, welcome back for another week of Working Fans Wednesday. I will be joined shortly by AJ Strangebrew and the man they call Dave, and we're going to do a live 531 on future stars of wrestling, as well as talk tonight's AEW card. Now, in addition to the social medias listed there, you can find us on Twitch at FansWorking. Our email is workingfanswrestlingpod@gmail.com. Our YouTube is youtube.com/c/workingfanswrestlingpod. Our website is workingfanspodcast.com.
Get the Lambo car, house in the hills with the stars. Told you I'd raise the bar, told you that I'd go far. Oh, baby, it's crystal clear. I'm not a souvenir. I'm not an accessory. I'm a necessity, so come and check me out now. I'm a necessity, so come and check me out now.
Now, as you know, we are brought to you by a variety of great sponsors. First up, 482 Designs. That's FOUR82Designs at gmail.com. They can help you out with any t-shirt, sticker, screen printing needs. Email them over there. They are great. WrestleTopia, at WrestleTopia on Twitter, WrestleTopia on Facebook. I've told you before, JD Sloan, he's been on the show. Great guy, offers up some great Google Drive sales if you're a tape trader, or great wrestling memorabilia if you're into that. Go check them out at Twitter and Facebook to see what they have. You know that Dave and I are the commentary team for Knockout Wrestling, and AJ is the brains behind Knockout Rewind, the new Knockout podcast. Check them out. Currently, their social media is still Renegade Wrestling on Facebook, or you can go to knockout-shop.com and buy a Working Fans podcast shirt, or buy a shirt of any of your favorite Knockout favorites. Lance by Chance, you saw the commercial at the top of the show, written by Vinnie Barry and Lance Vaughn. It's the story of how Kevin Vaughn became Lance Von Erich, and then Lance Vaughn, his life before wrestling, how he got into the business, and even more wild of a life outside of the business. I'm getting tongue-tied because I've said it all before. I say it every week. If you're a wrestling fan, even if you're not a wrestling fan, this book is very interesting and anyone can enjoy it. Now, last but not least, we are brought to you by The Buzz. That is our podcast network, our podcast family, if you will. I'm going to play a short commercial detailing the other live shows that we offer over at The Buzz. And then after that, we'll get into the live 531 talking future stars of wrestling.
War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Till we see the confetti fall, be ready for war. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Till we see the confetti fall, be ready for war. Tell them I'm ready, any opponent. The crown heavy and every minute it's chosen. A path only fit for kings, and you won't know what this court means. What did you enlist for? If it isn't getting more rings, then you gon' have to switch your team. Trust me, it gets more mean. I'm a nightmare going up against your dreams. First step is explosive like a bomb hit. Bet if I let it fly, I cannot miss. And you ain't got a chance at the top 10 when you getting clamped all night by a locksmith. On the block, throwing lobs to my top bigs. I'm a chef, no look, with the top dish. Tie game, through the pressure as the clock ticks. Crossover, step back, hit a shot quick.
Now, guys, how are we doing this week?
Someone say something about fired up.
All kinds of fired up, you son of a bitch.
Now, before we get into the Live 531, obviously we have a big announcement for everybody.
Absolutely, Joe. We got to talk about AEW. They're moving to TBS. They're going to be with quarterly specials on TNT and Rampage.
I heard about that just before we were going on the air. Are you excited about them going to TBS?
I'm very excited, and I can't believe you're breaking that news.
You're very intense. You didn't even give us the breaking news on that one.
I couldn't help it. You told me, but we do have other breaking news, don't we, Joe?
Yeah, Dave, do you want to do the honors? Should I?
I mean, I just laid in. I thought we had something else going on. So
this is obviously a well-planned spot. Like,
I thought there was going to be a commercial to run in here or something. That's all right. That's all right. All good, baby. All good. Listen, so the big news, guys, is yes, AEW Dynamite got the little show. Check it out. They're going to be moving. Good for them. But your premier organization, the Working Fans Podcast on the Buzz Network, we're going to be moving. All right. You got to check us out. This is like Saturday morning, afternoon wrestling. All right. We're going to be on in that Saturday 1 p.m. time slot. All right. Now, not right away. We're taking a couple weeks off. We're going to make you wait for it. We know you want it, but we're going to make you wait for it. And June 5th, we will be back after tonight, live Saturday, 1 p.m. afternoon. Like you used to watch wrestling around that time anyway. Come on, guys. Check us out.
That was much smoother than I could have done it. And it's actually happening because I finally got out of the fucking grocery business. I think it's going to be a little bit better on this end. And sadly, we just had to kind of move things around, and we want to stay live on the Buzz, so Saturdays it is.
My boy, Randy Oscar, is going to catch us on Saturdays. I know you're there, Randy. Throw your W up in the air. Woo! Working Fans, baby.
He's going to have to catch the replay because I feel like that's prime time for him. That's like the middle of his day.
I know, that's lunchtime. That's lunchtime. Cut up one of those pigs, get yourself some bacon, and make yourself a nice bacon and cheese sandwich.
Cut that pig.
I thought that was going to be date night for Dave.
Where's those pigs at? Go for that quality pig.
Enough with the slap dickery. You got the big news. We'll be on Saturdays, but our last Wednesday, we are going out in style.
Right now.
Live 531 on the top future stars of wrestling. How excited were you guys to put together a list for this?
I'm going to check it out right now. I actually...
it was also incredibly hard because there's so many bright spots in wrestling right now.
Yeah, I want to mix mine up a little bit. Yeah, I did a few different promotions, but there was one promotion in particular I think that shined a little bit for me. So we'll get
now.
To that.
What were kind of your criteria for picking a future star of wrestling? Did you have any specific cutoffs? Was there anything that you're like, it's got to fit this framework?
I tried to get people in their 20s, and I also tried to get people that like unlike MJF, who I think I mentioned when we actually did this on the audio version about a year ago, whatever, he's already been in main event pay-per-views and main event segments enough. So it's like, to me, now you're kind of beyond prospect. So I just, I tried to get guys that, maybe main evented a Dynamite or two, but, weren't at what I consider the world championship level yet. And I do, even though MJF doesn't have that title, I consider him like a potential world champion.
It's tough because I didn't necessarily want to put an age limit on it because I think some of the up-and-coming stars right now who are finally getting a break.
AJ's hoping to be on this list next year.
We're talking about you, Cesaro.
He doesn't want footage to be like, you can't say I didn't say that. I said this is an ageless thing.
It's an ageless thing.
No judgment.
I just gave him an idea. He's like, fuck, he threw me off.
I I'm excited. I kind of want to read my list, guys.
All right, give us
Why
a
don't you
list,
start
man. You're
off?
ready to
Yeah,
bust.
I
Go on.
will. Yeah, I know you got some people here today too for us, but I got Jungle Boy. To me, Jungle Boy Jack Perry. And by the way, I love that Jim Ross calls him Jungle Boy Jack Perry. I know some people didn't like it, but to me, it's like, give me a sense of realism. Like, I don't want him just to be called Jungle Boy, coming in there on Luchasaurus' shoulders, spitting out little water. Fuck all that. All right. I want him to be a serious contender, which I think AEW did a great job. I love the fact he has a submission hold in the STF as a finisher. And I love that they pull out stats on him and being so active. And I think it's great. I think the build-up's been great. And he was announced on AEW Dark last night as being in the Casino Battle Royal. And they even did a little video on him about how he would love to be, TNT champion, but this is a great opportunity for him and how he made his debut at the Casino Battle Royal. And with that kind of video package and that push, I know he's not going to win the world title yet, but he's a dark horse of mine to win that Casino Battle Royal. Now,
He's got skinny legs.
we talked about that. Another guy who's got probably skinny legs, but I wanted to include on here. I wanted to have something a little different. I just don't want to go AEW, WWE so much, but Ace Austin. To me, Ace Austin's a guy I've seen in Independence. He's a bit on the small side, but he's put on some size over the last year or so. And he's a guy I think Impact sees something with, and he's always he's gotten better on the mic, and I think he's still very young, and he's somebody we could see in AEW or WWE, probably preferably AEW given his size, that could be something in the future. I'm excited about his prospects. Okay. Another guy we're covering on the audio tomorrow a little bit, Brian Pillman Jr. Huge fan of this guy. And I think the Dark Side of the Ring story about his father, ironically, is going to be one of the things that propels this guy in the next year or so. I think he's become the ultimate babyface. And I think that, him and his tag team partner, Griff Garrison, both could be on this list. But I like Pillman a little more, and so he's my guy. Now, my final two. AJ, don't think I didn't put any women on this list. Britt Baker. All right. Now, I know that, I didn't put MJF because, he's going to be in the world championship. But to me, Britt Baker has made such an astonishing turnaround in her short career and continues to improve so much that she became like one of the best, not women, but best talent overall on the mic. And now, we saw all about a month or so ago with that Lights Out match with Thunder Rosa, that the in-ring skills have kind of caught up to. That she's just on fire. She's cooking on all cylinders. Everything's working for this girl. And I think she's a main event talent that's going to turn this promotion around. So when I say Britt's one of the top prospects, I mean, that's the one that's kind of right now. It's going to probably start in a couple weeks. So look out for Britt. And final guy, this might be a guy who's not making a ton of waves as much as the other guys because he's over in the UK. But he's only 22, 23 years old, if that. Tyler Bate. All right.
He's
Tyler
already
Bate,
mentoring people.
Tyler Bate is, without a doubt.
That's what happens when you win the title at 18. You can
he's just
by
so
23.
He's so good. The match he had with Walter before the pandemic, off the charts. The matches he's had with Pete Dunne, again, he's also been wrestling since he's 12 years old. So superb. Absolutely a huge fan of this kid, and I hope he gets a chance to sign continually. That's my list, baby.
I agree with
He's
you.
Austin. Funny story about him. I saw him. I was at the Bound for Glory that was in the Melrose Ballroom that had LAX versus LAX where they tore up the ring. And he was actually just a dude at that show. I don't know if he was showing up trying to get noticed, trying to get a job. But it's funny how he's come from there to a year and a half later being in the Federation.
Yeah. Yeah, and just had the most outstanding matches. Actually, everybody knows I'm a Jim Ross mark, and I'm not taking a shot at Jim here. But I would say one of Jim's really last great calls, and I think he's fine, but that energy, from the era that I love Jim, is that match he had at Chicago with Pete Dunne, a couple years ago at one of the takeovers.
That was a real good one.
Yeah, and Jim was on fire. He wrote the music for it, and they did an awesome job, and everything just clicked. And that was the night Pete Dunne became UK champion as well. So awesome job.
Nice. Now, AJ, you want me to throw out a couple lists before you do yours? So we got a couple.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So
That's
first,
it. Now, let me ask you a question real quick,
Mm,
because obviously this is a lot of open interpretation.
sure.
Do you think Pete Dunne is actually still in the prospect position where he
I
can
thought about putting him
actually?
down. Ultimately, I went with younger because I think that's a good thing. But
Yeah,
yeah, he's
I'm
definitely.
just not sure winning the UK NXT championship is enough yet to have marked you far enough out of the range where you can
And this
I
is where
feel
it's
the same
open
way
to it.
about Walter.
And this is where it's open to interpretation. Because if you look at some of the guys on my list, like Jungle Boy, they haven't won a major title yet or anything, but he's been built up a certain way, and he's on a primetime wrestling show.
Yeah.
And then there's other guys too, like and women like Britt Baker, who's killing it. But then you have Ace Austin. I mean, at what I'm not knocking Impact Wrestling, but again, we're defining
But what does the
prospects.
X Division title mean in the grand scheme of
In
things
the
at
grand
this
scheme of
point?
things, right? But that's it.
Yeah.
It's all about prospect, and I think these guys have
Absolutely.
the potential. The
Like,
Yeah,
potential is there.
I'm just trying to set some guidelines as we go forward on these lists.
It's very
I mean,
hard.
a couple of people I wanted to put on mine. I wanted to put Leon Ruff on there because I feel like there's enough raw talent that you can see the genesis of right now,
Mm.
but it felt like he's almost too new.
Them
Same
legs, Joe.
same with Lee Moriarty,
It's
who
getting old
was
body.
just holding the IWTV Independent Championship. I wanted to put him, but I feel like that's his first step on the way to being a future star. I see
'cause
things there, but I couldn't include him.
Yeah, because we're not gonna do my list yet, but I'm gonna tell you there's some very independent wrestlers on mine that haven't even grazed the major federation.
Did you put Chef Boyardee?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
I wanted to put
Yeah.
Ren Narita on there, but I feel like he's another one of those that there's such prospect on him from how they're presenting him, bringing him out with Nagata to AEW, having him get matches on Dark, but we still haven't seen, especially in Japan, when you come out of that young boy culture, everything's about taking away the personality and just making you a sound wrestler. So I don't know if I see that in him yet.
The other thing that I tried to keep in mind when I was thinking of New Japan, because at first I was thinking, I could put some of these New Japan guys on there, but then I'm like, wait a minute, they've made it. New Japan's a huge freaking federation, and I think it's a little insulting to say, oh, you haven't made it on American TV yet. So some of those
Phantasmo.
guys, so some of those guys I left alone.
Now I'm going to bring you Chris Zauha brought us a list. He's got Ace Austin, Deonna Purrazzo, and Jungle Boy.
Interesting.
Responding to him, Jason Gross said, I think once Brian Pillman Jr. goes all heel, so Dave might have bring that up tomorrow. He
Yes, I
also
did.
brings up he likes Alex Hammerstone a lot. To
Oh,
which
that's a good
Zauha
one.
said, how did I forget about Hammerstone?
That's what I just said too in my mind. So it's a good one.
And he also hopes Jacob Fatu and I got Lana Fatu, but that can't be right. I don't know who. Lance.
Lana Fatu, I'll break you, crush you.
When you see Lana Fatu,
Ooh, that bitch is bad.
Fatu, I fucked up the C and the E.
She bad as a motherfucker and fine as hell too.
Now, one more list before we'll take AJ's. We'll do a couple more lists, or we'll do this list. I'll do mine and a couple more. Then we'll hit AJ with the main event spot.
Yeah,
Albert
main
Pettis, remember Rockin' Randy's Rockin' Wrestling Group has Hammerstone, Fatu, Richard Holiday, Dak Draper, and Josh the Goods Woods. It's interesting to see he included a couple ROH guys in there.
I thought about that. I just watched a match with Josh Woods and Silas, and they tore the house down. And I thought about Josh, but he's another one I didn't put down there. But I don't. I love my list, but I will say this: Hammerstone is definitely one I regret not putting on there, though.
Yeah. Now I got Deonna Purrazzo. I got Alex Coughlin from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
That's a good one.
Had to put former guest of the show Richard Holiday. Brian Pillman Jr. was almost too tempting not to put on the list. And then Dave, I put on MJF because I think he's still young enough where this is his first shot at the big time. When he gets that title, that'll be like another milestone. And then he'll just put title and title and title after that, I think.
I mean, no arguments here. I mean, the man is a superstar already. That's the only reason why I didn't put him on. I think he actually said in an interview, didn't he, recently? Was it something like one of the best wrestlers at 23? And he said, horse shit, I'm one of the best wrestlers. So,
Yeah. And it's that confidence that he has that's wild. Now, Kevin Dignam from Rockin' Randy's Rockin' Wrestling Group has
Because he's digging him, brother.
Oh, indignant.
He's got Cameron Grimes, Pillman Jr., and he also has Jungle
Ted
Boy.
DiBiase.
I did admit, I thought about Grimes too, but I'm like, I want to see a little bit more. And but he's definitely, I mean,
I love Cameron Grimes.
It's not crazy to think this guy's career is going to the moon.
I actually watched a little bit of NXT last night, and I was thoroughly entertained by him. Like, I haven't watched it in a while, and I was like, God, I can't wait for this guy to be on screen the whole time.
I love his interactions with Ted DiBiase.
Damn Ted DiBiase.
No idea where this could possibly be going with 60-something-year-old disabled Ted DiBiase. But it's very
putting that $1 million dream on him, son.
By the way, Ted DiBiase on my prospect list.
Now, before we go with the man of the hour, AJ Strangebrew, we've got
his lover,
Randy Osga.
Yeah.
He's got Max Caster, Moriarty, Ricky Starks,
good list.
Wheeler Yuta, somebody that I'm not familiar with, Christy Janes.
Oh, she's on SWE Fury.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
she's
she's
good.
enforcing the Jake rule and Deimos.
Man, Randy hitting us hard.
That is a hell of a list.
That might be the best list in the business right there.
And he's got a lot of, like, Max Caster, Ricky Starks on TV, Lee Moriarty not. Wheeler Yuta's seen some time in ROH, and he's digging in that SWE Fury for Christy James.
I like to think I got my boy started on that. Welcome,
All right,
Randy.
so unlike the undercarder man called Dave, I do have Hammerstone. I actually have Chris Dickinson. The reason why I have Chris Dickinson, I don't know if you guys saw the card this weekend on the 15th, but him and Royce Isaacs had a freaking hell of a match. They just that was a hell of a banger.
Well, I did
and
not.
then that was live from Las Vegas, by the way. So hell of a card.
What show is this?
GCW. It was live from Las Vegas, the 15th.
Oh, okay.
Zoe Starks is making my list. I think Zoe Starks has the utmost potential. She's got great athletic ability. She does have a presence to her. There's there's an it factor there. Even against Tony Storm, who we absolutely love, and I don't think it's
sidebar.
Tony Storm's ass, yeah.
By the way, sidebar, Tony Storm last night. I know we're not talking about that. Hell of a finishing move.
That new finishing move is fucking insane. I thought she killed Zoe Starks.
Yeah.
And then I'm surprised neither one of you guys have this tag team on there. I got Marshall and Ross Von Erich. I think their upside as a tag team that they actually have a very bright future. And now this one's going to get me some heat. This is my number 5 spot. People are going to say he's made it. He's the NXT.
If you say Randy Oscar, I'm stopping the broadcast.
He said NXT, so
no. People are going to tell me that this guy's, he's the current NXT champion. He's already made it. Karrion Kross's upside from where he's at right now, especially with Scarlett and him, I think he can go to the moon. I can see him, especially bringing down Paul Heyman.
Gimmick.
Especially bringing in Paul Heyman to comment on the match. This one's too close to call, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that they are building Karrion Kross and that he's going to be pushed to the moon.
I would not argue that.
That's a great prime target last night, by the way. Yeah, for those who didn't see, Paul Heyman was on it discussing the competitiveness of this rematch they're about to have
love
next
the
week
prime target.
Yeah, with Cross and Balor. And I'm not trying to take away from – we still got to pick a winner here. But it was so well done, and to AJ's point, NXT is doing such a good job, I think, with Cross here. And he's kind of the guy that Vince likes. And behind the scenes, he looks like such a straight shooter. He seems like the type of guy that Vince might like in real life, too.
I'm going to make a prediction. I think Finn Balor's going over, and I think Karrion Kross is coming to the big time.
And here's the thing, too. If he didn't work out in WWE, because let's not put anything past him to drop the ball on the main roster, this guy can make it in AEW too. This
Anywhere.
guy can make it in New Japan. He's got star just written all over
If you want to see Impact's biggest fuck up, check out Karrion Kross.
I was just about to say, I think he could have his spot in WWE because if you look at what they did with him in Impact, criminally underutilized, and he looks like 1,000 times bigger of a star now. And
we've seen
where
him,
that body type is favored.
Yeah.
we saw him up close and personal at Bloodsport, and let me tell you, this is a legit badass looking dude.
So, all right, we got to pick a winner here.
I don't know if we can. I feel like the names are so spread out that it's like a bunch of guys have a vote here and there.
I mean, Pillman, Jungle Boy made a few lists.
Okay,
Yeah, they made a few
I don't know, but
lists.
here's the thing. I gotta give it to my boy. I love to give him shit. I love the fucking needle, AJ. But I didn't hear a lot of people pick these guys. But damn it, two of his picks, the Von Erichs and Cross. I really like that, and I really like Cross for that reason. And also, by the way, not enough people picked Ricky Starks too, or Hammerstone. So now I just basically gave you fucking 6 people.
I cannot tell you how pissed off I was when I heard Ricky Starks come out of fucking Asuka's mouth because it was so hard for me to hold him off the list. I wanted him on my list, but I couldn't not put Cross on, and I couldn't not put the Von Erichs on.
You know what? I'm gonna say. All right,
let's argue it between Pillman Jr. and Jungle Boy since those were only the clear.
I mean, they're the
closest
closest
to
to
Page.
By the way, nobody mentioned Hangman Page either, and that's a guy
criminal.
with a bright
That's
fucking
another
future.
criminal thing. My God, how do we not mention Hangman?
Well,
Page?
see, it's also where are your blind spots for these rising stars? Are you focusing on guys that are just about to that next level, or are we talking about guys that are just starting out on the list?
This should have been the 10-5 for you.
That was the toughest part to me about this list.
Yeah.
That's you've got 2 guys that are so close to being mega stars in Karrion Kross and freaking Hangman Page that and MJF, same freaking thing.
Yeah, MJF is the same situation Crosses basically. Yeah.
Another person who didn't get mentioned, Johnny Hungy. To me, Johnny Hungy is so freaking talented.
He's starting.
Johnny Hungy.
I love him, but I feel like he's just starting to build that resume that this is, even though he's been wrestling for however many years, I feel like this is that first big exposure. And once he gets back in the ring and gets another year under his belt, I feel like he's going to be that much bigger.
Max Caster, by the way, someone who mentioned him.
Oh, that's another one.
Yeah.
Like his partner's an ass clown.
Like when he's talking about, like, he made some kind of comment about Mox and Eddie Kingston on Dark, how they were like talk too much, and he made like a Shield reference. Like his raps are just on fire. I love the joke about Sonny Kiss, something about, but I got a better ass, booty, butt cheeks.
Josh Alexander, Ethan Page. I mean,
Alexander was another one that cost me my. So yeah, I guess out of the people that got mentioned multiple times, between
I'd say let's just keep it to Jungle Boy and Brian Pillman to make it easier.
we can do that.
If that's the case, then
it's got to be Brian Pillman. Jungle Boy is good, but I feel like Pillman with that name, that's going to help him just that much more.
Okay, well here's the thing. AJ, let me ask you this:
both fathers died tragically, and both fathers were actually superstars in different.
AJ,
areas.
let me ask you this though, to counter Joe's point a little bit. I'll ask you: who do you feel, as of right now, the company is more behind?
Jungle Boy, 100%.
Exactly. So
I
also
disagree with Joe. I actually think that with his last name being Perry, Luke Perry being his father, and with the look that he has, if he's able to put any size whatsoever on, I think he could actually be a megastar. I haven't seen the interview capability from Brian Pillman that his father has yet. He hasn't really been given the chance.
Yeah.
I'm going to be fair. He hasn't really been given the chance.
Hey, the interview that put him over was the one on Dark Side.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's he's got to reach more into that dark side, and the best thing that he can do, in my opinion, reach for the fans to care for him, and then fucking swat him away.
I agree. I think we're all saying hoping for that heel turn one day. Even though I said he's the ultimate babyface coming out of Dark Side, I think he is. I think we need to build on that, but then at the right moment, we get that right white hot heat
But-
that Court Bauer always talks
But if
about.
I have to pick between the two of them right now, I'm actually going opposite of Joe. I'm going Jungle Boy.
And I'm going to be the difference maker on the side, and I am going to lean with AJ on this one because I agree. I think, although I like Pillman and my heart wants to go with Pillman, and no offense to Jungle Boy because I love you both, but I'm more of a Pillman fan just because that family heritage, what that means to me.
Fucking agreeing with me twice in one segment.
But I think when you're talking about prospect, we have to go with who the company's more behind right now. And I think they've put Jungle Boy in positions to succeed more. They clearly are behind this guy. And, I mean, he's been with the company just a little bit longer. That could be it, too. But it is the case. So,
All right, you guys, you know what the music means. Jungle Boy Jack Perry is our top future prospect of wrestling. And we're going to play a podcast commercial. And then tonight's AEW card. Producer
Darth
Joe
Vader.
here from the Working Fans Podcast. And at the Working Fans Podcast, this is just a podcast that 3 lifelong fans created to have a place to talk comedy and pro wrestling. Now, our comedy podcast releases every Tuesday, while our wrestling podcast releases every Thursday. We release bonus episodes under the moniker Working Fans Presents every now and then. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, any major podcast provider. The important thing is just please like, rate, review, subscribe wherever you listen to us. Now, we have started a new thing. We are now on Amazon and Audible. So those episodes release every Monday. And that's kind of going through the archives and just releasing our old episodes in a new area. So if you want to live through the process with us again, take that journey with us again, you can find us over on Amazon and Audible. Now, if you can't get enough of us in the audio form, check out our YouTube. It's youtube.com/C/Working Fans Wrestling Pod, or just search Working Fans Podcast on YouTube. We have the whole archive is up there. And if you listen to the Working Fans Podcast, you are more than familiar with the 531. That is our signature segment where we take your top 5 lists on a particular subject, vote it down to a top 3, and then debate it down to a top 1. Now, guys, if you want to hear 3 guys talk shit about comedy, wrestling, life, anything, you will enjoy the Working Fans Podcast. Dave, AJ is back, and we are going to talk a little AEW Dynamite tonight. How excited are you guys for Dynamite? Do you feel like it's a stacked card? I feel like without the NXT competition, I don't know. I don't get as excited for it anymore, kind of deciding which card do I want to see more.
Joe loves the divisiveness.
I like the choice. I like to see which main event do I want to watch tonight. Is it, Serena Deeb defend the NWA title, or is it something on NXT?
See, I like that they're on separate nights now for me because it's like, I like the fact that they can slowly take their time to build things a little more. And I think that's one thing I've noticed, especially with NXT. Like with last night, we saw them do a lot more video packages. But even, AEW Dynamite, Tony Khan said, we can slow down on certain things. Although it doesn't always feel like they're slowing down. And I'm not knocking them. AEW feels like the fastest 2 hours in wrestling.
I love it. It goes by so quick, and it's always so enjoyable.
Yeah.
Dave's just excited for some taste of some red velvet tonight.
Stir it up. Stir it up. I'm going to stir your old bitch ass up.
So we got Serena Deeb versus Red Velvet for the NWA Women's Championship.
Yeah.
It's clear Red Velvet's not winning it, right?
Well, you know what's funny about that? On AEW Dark last night, they did an awesome video package of Red Velvet going for this belt and talking about her father, how this is in her blood. He was a boxer and, her wanting to chase this. And is this in her blood? Can she be denied? And I was like, damn, I just thought she was going to lose. Like, you built this up. But how many people watched AEW Dark last night?
I did not. You showed me that Royce Isaacs versus Ren Narita match.
Which I did not see on there, by the way. I don't know. Back we sent me that, but I don't know if I missed that match because I was doing some stuff on the phone for a bit. No offense, AJ.
But
But
by the way, that's friend of the show, Royce Isaacs.
that's about
And
Dan
friend of the
all
show,
friends.
Dan Backley. But
All
why you
friends of
giving
the
us
show.
fake news, brother?
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I'm still gonna have to go with Serena, but I don't know. It's interesting the way they built up.
I hope Thunder Rosa comes out and we get an advancement on that AEW or that NWA championship for the upcoming NWA pay-per-view on
Don't forget, Rosa's still got that match coming up where she's in a loser leave must. I'm sorry, a loser must stay in the
loser must
promotion.
stay match.
NWA very insecure about their own product. Apparently, listen, bitch, you lose, you gotta stay here.
Well, I
You
mean,
ain't going nowhere.
look how many people they had versus for that first run of Power versus now. And they lost a lot of big people. So
You don't promote that in a storyline, though. You don't advertise it.
true.
But the
Randy
funny thing
Costa
is-
watching.
Okay, well, yeah, he DVR'd it. He's watching. Just do your thing.
Yeah,
Right?
he's gonna watch the replay on Hulu, and then he's
Don't
gonna
tell nobody.
I'm still
He's
gonna
just
go with
joking.
I'm still gonna go with AEW tonight. Although I might watch MLW first.
MLW. They're doing episode 23 of MLW Underground, which features the War Games match between the Funkin' Army and the Extreme Horsemen.
I remember that event. That's a hell of an event, and I'm actually looking forward to watching it. So
AJ wrestled on that event.
no.
Now, getting us back
Team
to
with
the
Rod Price.
AEW
Anyway.
kick, we got Christian Cage versus Matt Sydal. I think
Good
that's
match.
going to be an awesome match.
Yeah.
Could be a show stealer. Show stealer.
Young
Varsity
Bucks
Blondes.
versus Varsity Blondes for that AEW tag title. They're not going to win it, but I think it's going to be a hell of a showing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we'll get a little bit of Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian breaking up?
I don't know. I think this technically was taped, so otherwise I would say no, because Frankie just lost his father recently, and
No, but I think it was
something
taped.
that
I
he
believe
lost
it was taped last week.
I think it was taped the next day, so it might be. Yeah. So.
Yeah, we got to have a Father's Day show. You, me, Tillman Jr., Frank Kazarian. Did you get from Voluntown? Sorry, AJ, you got stuff going on that day. We know you.
Yeah.
did.
I try losing my dad, but he keeps coming back.
We got Hikaru Shida versus Hikaru
Hickory who?
versus Rebel. You fucked me up. I'm still.
Hickory Smoke Wrestling? Oh,
We got
he's
Hick-
bad.
That almost stops Hanukkah Kimura there.
Hanukkah Kimura, baby, one of the all-time greats.
We got
AJ
Hickory Farms wrestling tonight. That's great.
She's
AJ
fantastic.
popped me with that fucking dad joke, so I had to recompose myself. But
Mhm.
Hikaru Shida versus Rebel, AEW women's title eliminator match.
Yeah, Rebel, not Reba. And actually said that on the Instagram.
That's-
I thought that was great.
Longest name in wrestling.
Yeah.
Rebel, not Reba. Dude, that's a good topic right there.
Renta is going now that she is done with MLW. Apartment wrestling. Check it out.
God, that
check
one.
it,
She promoted that. I don't know, I'll tell you. But I mean,
you
hey,
can check it out on OnlyFans. You can find that on.
Shit, let me get that address after the show. But we've got the Acclaimed versus Moxley and Kingston, which I'm excited for.
Hey, see Young Bucks versus Varsity Blondes. I think this is a similar situation, but with the young heels now gunning with the two superstars here. And by the way, it's kind of funny when AJ said we didn't have to put age on prospects earlier. Eddie Kingston is probably 20 years in the business. He's probably having his best career. Let's work a prospect than ever.
Yeah.
So
I think me and Eddie Kingston went to Adrian Street's school together.
See, I would love to put Eddie Kingston, but as sad as it is to stay, I don't know if he's ever going to hit star status.
He's at his pinnacle right now.
He's
He
going to be
could.
awesome on the mic. He's not going to be a bad wrestler, but I don't think he's going to be.
I think he's
One
going
of
to
those
get a title
major
at some
stars.
point, though. Will he be a world title? I don't know, but I think Eddie Kingston, if he gets a world title, I think it'll be a Mick Foley-like situation where it'll be a little while, be like that reward for your time in the business and we love you. But, yeah, I don't think he's going to be the top guy that they run the company with long term.
Guys,
No.
breaking news. We forgot a big one. How about
no.
Chris Jericho?
What's he doing? He got hurt.
Bam. There you go.
How did he get
Ah.
Off the
Remember,
off the fall.
he hurt the elbow off the cell. when he hit
landing on
that hard concrete.
the pillowcases. The bed sheets.
Yeah, isn't that ridiculous that a spot that feels so overdone in wrestling now and that everybody will look down upon as
So
looking
f-
so cheesy will
so
still
stupid.
hurt him? And it's like, what are you hurting yourself for at that?
What did you gain by this? He got legitimately hurt, and because the cameraman picked up on everything, it was like everybody said, "What a phony looking, fake looking spot," and the guy got legit hurt off it too. So it's like you didn't win. It's like I would imagine it's like being in the ring with a guy whose punches look like shit, but they actually fucking bust you open for real and hurt you. It's like
And up
this
with
is
a
the
broken
worst.
nose.
Yeah,
Jesus.
this is the worst.
Here's my problem with that situation. We talk about how phony that bump looked because of everything that happened.
They're still
All
dangerous.
all the fans are upset about it. Where the fuck were these fans when they were crying and whining about Matt Hardy taking the unsafe bump and freaking
that was
landing
legitimate.
on the concrete?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He lands
Yeah.
legitimately on hard shit. People are upset. Chris Jericho lands on a bed, hurts himself, and people are upset.
I mean, let's just say it. We're the Working Fans podcast. Fans are assholes. All right? But hey, thanks for tuning in.
Also, by the way, the cameraman should be fired.
You took a shit on Chris Jericho's leg.
So the last match that I noticed was Anthony Ogogo versus Austin Gunn. And then we're going to have like the Inner Circle responding to the Pinnacles challenge, I bet, for Stadium Stampede. And new TNT champion Mara we're going to hear from.
Austin Gunn, baby.
Am I the only one who has no interest in Anthony Ogogo whatsoever?
Well, I mean, we've built them up. And AJ, you've been watching wrestling long enough, like I have too. And all you're seeing is one punch from a guy. It's a little concerning that he might not have much else in the tank.
I have a ton of interest because I heard him on a lot of the early darks.
Yeah.
He's got a good personality.
Sure.
Obviously, he's been limited in the ring so far. And I don't want to see him on the pay-per-view this early. We haven't seen a proper match out of him really yet tonight. It's going to be that look.
Yeah, and tonight's not going to be a proper match either. Austin Gunn's going to bump his ass a little bit, take a fucking punch to the gut, and it's going to be over.
Right. It would be real interesting to see how it's booked with Cody. But if one thing we learned about Cody, especially in this situation with Shaq and everything like that, Cody seems pretty good at handling himself with these raw talents. So
I'm starting to see an Ivan Drago situation here from
You think
Rocky
Cody's
IV.
going to let us down on fucking Memorial Day weekend?
You know, talk about showing up as the American dream, baby. Oh yeah, baby, we're gonna light you up.
What did you guys think of that promo last weekend? Because I felt like it started off in old Bill Watts territory, somehow ended up in a Cody promo, and to me, it just felt too all over the place. I knew what he was going for, but how much anti-England sentiment is there?
Okay.
Well, first of all, it started off as straight fire and turned to dog shit. Secondly, I'm all right with the anti-English. I mean, fucking.
I hate the Brits. Hey, I got.
We whooped their ass in '76. We'll do it again.
I was going to say you went anti your dad a few minutes ago, so anybody could be an enemy to you.
I'm going to disagree with AJ a little bit on this. I actually thought it started off bad, but the fire at the end made it a little better. But the big issue with the whole thing was that, and I think they talked about this on Post Wrestling. I know Joe listens to that. As if we had built Anthony Ogogo more as this "I hate America" guy leading into this, then it would maybe make more sense. Instead, it was like, wait, are we going to have a flag match? What's going on? I thought that's what we were leading. He's going to try to get that flag.
I've heard about Anthony Ogogo, and he has done no anti-U.S. sentiment in any of his.
He just did on Elevation Dark just the other day, but that was the first time I ever heard it.
I'd be more into this match if the winner gets to punch Hugh Grant.
We hate the Brits. Working Fans podcast.
Now, guys, you know,
if I get to piss on Margaret Thatcher, then this is a good match.
Oh man, baby, I don't need to talk to your fetishes with old women in here. Just ain't that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
you
got a Saturday afternoon. You got to clean it up.
We don't have an OnlyFans yet.
We got that Superstars time slot coming up here. We got the kiddies watching. You better.
We should probably point out that she's dead, so it'd be on her grave, not actually on Margaret
Reach
Thatcher.
for the lightning bolt.
Hey, if you want to see AJP on old ladies, man, get us. We'll find a Patreon level for that.
We'll get a Patreon. That's gonna be an expensive one.
Randy is breaking out his credit card right now. He's like, how do I enter it quick enough?
Get ready on Cameo. We'll come to your house and do it.
But guys, you know how we end the show every week. We got to pick a match that's most exciting to us. There's a lot of them this week, but I got to go Young Bucks Varsity Blondes.
Not going to disagree. I agree. I think Caster and the Acclaim versus.
Ooh, that's another good one.
That's right there for me, but I'm going to go Bucks Blondes. So
I want to go with Red Velvet and Serena Deeds, but I can't because I just don't think Red Velvet's ready yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with Max Caster and his partner versus Johnny Moxley and Eddie Kingston, the future of wrestling. I think that the promo beforehand is going to be one of the most entertaining things from both sides.
Why am I blanking out on Max Caster's partner's name too?
Because it doesn't matter. In 10 years, we're not going to remember him.
It's
Anthony Bowens.
Yeah.
In 10 years, we're not going to have a clue.
He's got the Billy Gunn line where Billy Gunn would just say, suck it. He's like, the Acclaim has entered or has arrived or whatever.
Max Caster is your Shawn Michaels in this one.
So, Randy, what match are you most looking forward to tonight? And guys, let's go out with the soundbite. AJ, what do you got for us?
Well, what you gonna do, brothers and sisters, when we come to you, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. The Working Fan!
June 5th.
June 5th, which is the day after my birthday.
Celebrate.
Nice. So celebrate AJ's birthday with us. And
I'm finally turning 30.
For the second time, right?
Like 15 years in a row.
Oh, shit, guys. I think we're breaking poor Randy's heart. I don't think he was here for the intro.
Saturday.
Randy, we're not on Wednesday nights anymore.
Yeah. It's old Saturday wrestling, baby. Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, 1 p.m. Saturday, June 5th, all right? You used to watch Superstars of Wrestling. Come on, Randy. We're going to be in that time slot.
Randy, I apologize. I told these guys to text you ahead of time and let you know this so that you would know. Neither one of them gave a fuck, but I apologize.
Professional.
Look, guys, we've had such a good time doing this on Wednesday nights ever since we first got invited on by that old podcast network. And then when they left us,
shout out to them,
cardboard box on the side of the highway with rain coming down on us. Archie picked us up. He put us in the van. He's been keeping us going ever since. So Saturdays, 1 p.m., Randy, take a lunch break or do something. You got to catch us.
I think it's great that Joe still thinks that was rain.
Dirty.
I love it. Those are my guys. Every time we hit them up. That's right. Instagram. Got your backs.
Dirty Heels. We got to have you guys on the new Saturday show one time.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's get them on 1 p.m. But guys, enjoy your wrestling tonight and have a good week.